Today we are going to dismantle the mechanics of betrayal. I will give you 3 rules from the most notorious political thinker in history, Niccolo Machiavelli, designed to make it almost impossible for you to be betrayed again. But this is not what you think it is. This is not a lesson in becoming a tyrant or a monster. In fact, it is the exact opposite. This is a lesson in how to recognize the predator so you are never the prey. It is a guide to forging an inner armor so robust, so psychologically sound, that the daggers of deceit, envy, and manipulation can no longer find your flesh. You believe betrayal is an emotional event, a tragic twist of fate, a painful anomaly. Machiavelli would find this view naive. For him, betrayal is not an anomaly, it is a predictable, mechanical process, as logical and as cold as mathematics. It is a science, and once you understand the formula, you become immune to the outcome. You have felt the sting, have you not? That cold shock when a friend's loyalty evaporates, when a partner's promise turns to dust, when a colleague you trusted uses your own words to climb over you. You ask yourself, why? How could this happen? What did I do wrong? You replay the scenes, searching for the moment the script changed, the instant the mask slipped. You believe if you were just kinder, more trusting, more open, you could have prevented it. This is the great illusion, the comforting lie you tell yourself to make sense of the chaos. Machiavelli teaches us the brutal truth. Your kindness did not prevent the betrayal. Your trust did not prevent it. In many cases, they were the very things that made it possible. They were the open gates through which the enemy marched. So I ask you, what if the very virtues you have been taught to cherish, trust, transparency, forgiveness are, in the wrong hands, the most dangerous vulnerabilities you possess? What if the key to never being broken by the world is not to be blindly good, but to be terrifyingly aware? This is the journey we are about to take. We'll not be sanitizing Machiavelli. We'll be looking directly into the abyss of his thought, because as he knew better than anyone, it is only by understanding the anatomy of darkness that you can command the light. Forget what you think you know. The real work begins now. The first and most fundamental law in the Machiavellian universe is the absolute separation of words and actions. You have been conditioned to listen to what people say. Their promises, their apologies, their declarations of loyalty, their heartfelt confessions. You build your reality on this foundation of words, and that is why your world so often collapses. While not a direct quote from Machiavelli, the spirit of his work instructs you to become deaf to the tongue and develop an obsessive, forensic focus on the hands. What do? What are the tangible, undeniable, physical consequences of their presence in your life? Words are the cheapest currency in the world. They are smoke, a veil, a performance. A person can weave a beautiful tapestry of language to tell you they support your dreams, that they have your back, that they would never hurt you. But at the same time, their hands, their actions can be quietly unraveling everything you build. They forget to pass on a crucial piece of information. They accidentally let a secret slip in a moment of gossip. They are consistently unavailable during your moments of greatest need, offering only eloquent excuses afterward. Their mouth speaks the language of an ally, but their hands do the work of a saboteur. You believe this is contradiction. You think? They say they love me, but they act like they do not. It is so confusing. For Machiavelli, this is not confusing at all. It is the clearest signal in the world. The hands never lie. The hands reveal intent. The hands reveal true allegiance. The mouth is for the theater of public opinion. The hands are for the reality of the battlefield. This principle is rooted in a core Machiavellian insight into human nature. People are governed by self-interest, not by morality, not by loyalty, not by love, but by what they perceive will benefit them the most. Their words are designed to manage your perception of them so they can continue to gain benefits from you. Their actions are what they actually do to secure those benefits for themselves. When you learn to watch the hands, you are no longer a participant in their play. You are an observer in the audience, watching the stagecraft. You see the actor who professes undying friendship but whose actions consistently isolate you from other allies. You see the business partner who praises your vision in meetings but whose actions divert resources to their own pet projects. You see the family member who talks endlessly about the importance of unity but whose actions sow discord and competition behind the scenes. They are telling you who they are, not with their voice, but with the consequences they create in your life. This is not a call for cynicism. It is a call for empiricism. It is about becoming a scientist of human behavior in your own life. Your only data points are actions and their outcomes. Everything else is noise. So, ask yourself right now about every single person in your inner circle. What do their hands do? Forget the last beautiful thing they said to you. What was the last concrete, tangible action they took? Did that action strengthen your position or weaken it? Did it bring you clarity or confusion? Did it add to your resources or drain them? The answer to that question is the truth. It is the only truth that matters. When you make this shift, your entire world reorganizes. The charming but unreliable friend is no longer a charming friend with a flaw. They are an unreliable actor whose function is to take energy and give nothing back. The flattering subordinate is no longer a loyal supporter. They are a strategic agent gathering information. This is not about paranoia. It is about pattern recognition. Betrayal is never a single event. It is the culmination of 1,000 small actions, 1,000 tiny cuts you ignored because you were too busy listening to the apology that followed each one. Stop listening. Start watching. When their words and their actions diverge, believe the actions. Every single time. Because the hands are writing a story, and if you are brave enough to read it, you will see the ending long before it arrives. And if you think this is a dark way to view the world, consider the alternative. A life of perpetual surprise, of being constantly wounded by the predictable actions of those you refuse to see for what they are. Machiavelli is not offering you a path to darkness. He is offering you a lantern. What comes next is how you learn to use it not just to see, but to navigate the terrain. This leads us to the second and most powerful law. If you only watch their hands, you become a passive observer. But to make betrayal impossible, you cannot be passive. You must become an active force. Now we move from observation to strategy. It is not enough to simply see the world for what it is. You must develop the capacity to act within it. And for Machiavelli, there are two essential natures you must cultivate within yourself. Two animals that represent the complete spectrum of power, the lion and the fox. He wrote in The Prince, since, therefore, a prince must know how to use the beast, he should choose the fox and the lion, because the lion cannot defend himself from snares, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. Therefore, it is necessary to be a fox to discover the snares and a lion to terrify the wolves. This is one of the most misunderstood metaphors in all of political philosophy. People hear it and think it means you must be either brutal or deceitful. They miss the entire point. Machiavelli's genius was in realizing you must be both. To possess one without the other is to be fatally incomplete. Let's dissect this. The lion is pure power. It is strength, force, intimidation, and direct confrontation. The lion represents your capacity to be formidable, to set boundaries that are respected not because they are fair, but because they are backed by consequence. The lion is the part of you that can say no and have it mean no. It is the part of you that can absorb a direct attack without crumbling, that can walk into a room and command presence without speaking a word. In the modern world, the lion is your financial independence, your indispensable skill set, your robust network, your physical health, your unshakable reputation for competence. It is the raw strength that makes others think twice before choosing you as a target. Wolves aggressive, overt opponents are terrified of the lion. But the lion is a simple creature. It is pure force, and it is vulnerable. It walks with heavy steps and a loud roar. It can fall into a trap, a snare it is too proud or too blind to see. A legal loophole, a well-placed rumor, a social manipulation, a betrayal from a trusted advisor who exploits the lion's trust. The lion's strength is useless against what it cannot see. This is why so many powerful, successful people are brought down by scandals and betrayals that seem, in hindsight, so obvious. They were all lion and no fox. The fox, on the other hand, is the master of the unseen world. The fox is cunning, adaptable, and perceptive. It is the master of recognizing snares. The fox represents your capacity for strategic thinking, for understanding the psychology of others, for recognizing hidden patterns and ulterior motives. The fox does not walk in a straight line. It zigzags, it listens, it watches from the shadows. The fox is the part of you that can read the subtext of an email, that can understand what is not being said in a meeting, that can sense the subtle shift in a friend's loyalty long before they act on it. The fox is your emotional intelligence, your strategic patience, your ability to play the long game. The fox lives in the world of what if. What if this person's kindness is a tactic? What if this offer is a trap? What if their stated goal is a distraction from their real one? The fox is the part of you that understands deception so intimately that it can recognize it in all its forms. But the fox is also vulnerable. It is a small animal. If cornered by a pack of wolves, its cleverness is useless. It will be torn apart. It has no force to back up its cunning. This is the fate of the brilliant strategist who has no power, the clever employee with no authority, the perceptive friend with no boundaries. They see the betrayal coming, but they are powerless to stop it. They are all fox and no lion. To make betrayal impossible, you must integrate these two natures. You must become a hybrid creature. You must have the lion's strength to make people fear the consequences of betraying you, and the fox's cunning to ensure they never get the opportunity to try. This is a dynamic balance. You use the fox's perception to scan the environment, to analyze the people around you, to identify potential threats and traps. You listen to the gossip, you note the inconsistencies, you understand the networks of power. You do this silently, without revealing your awareness. This is your intelligence gathering phase. Then, When the fox has identified a true threat, not an imagined one, but a real pattern of behavior that signals danger, you deploy the lion. Not necessarily with a roar, but with a clear, decisive action that demonstrates your power and reestablishes your boundaries. You might shut down a project, end a relationship, expose a lie with cold, hard facts, or simply withdraw your resources and energy. The action is swift, unambiguous, and final. It sends a message not just to that individual, but to everyone watching. I am not a target. I see the traps, and I have teeth. Think about your own life. Where are you imbalanced? Are you the trusting lion, always getting blindsided by the same kinds of manipulation because you refused to look for snares? Do you believe that if you are just strong enough and work hard enough, people will treat you fairly? Or are you the powerless fox, hyper-aware of all the threats around you, seeing the betrayals coming a mile away, but too timid or too weak to do anything about them? Paralyzed by your own perception? The path to immunity lies in the synthesis. You build your lion by becoming excellent at what you do, by securing your finances, by building a network of genuine allies, people whose hands you have watched for years. And you cultivate your fox by studying human nature, by questioning motives, by learning to trust that subtle feeling of unease that tells you when a story does not add up. You become a student of the game, not so you can become a monster, but so you can build a fortress around your own integrity, your own peace, and your own soul. You learn the ways of the wolf so you can protect the sheep within your care, starting with yourself. This understanding leads to the final and most difficult rule. It governs how you deploy your power, how you manage your relationships, and how you cement a reputation that makes betrayal unthinkable. We now arrive at the most chilling and most surgically precise of Machiavelli's prescriptions. It is the rule that separates the amateur from the master in the art of power and self-preservation. It is the mastery of the economy of human emotion, specifically the two great poles that govern all relationships, love and fear. You have been taught that the path to security is to be loved. Be kind, be generous, be forgiving, and people will be loyal to you. Machiavelli considers this a catastrophic miscalculation. He famously asked whether it is better to be loved than feared, or the reverse. His answer is a scalpel to the heart of our most cherished beliefs. He states that while it is best to be both, because the two rarely come together, it is much safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Let's be clear. When Machiavelli speaks of fear, he does not mean the terror inspired by a sadistic, unpredictable tyrant. That kind of fear breeds hatred, and hatred leads to conspiracies and desperate rebellion. The fear he advocates is a very specific, calculated instrument. It is the fear of consequence. It is the deep, certain, and unshakable knowledge in others that if they cross a known boundary, the response will be swift, proportional, and certain. It is respect, born from an understanding of your power and your willingness to use it to protect your interests. Love, on the other hand, is a fickle and unreliable bond. As Machiavelli writes in The Prince, love is held by the tie of obligation which, because men are wretched, is broken on every opportunity for their advantage. People's affection for you is conditional. It lasts as long as you are providing them with what they want, be it validation, resources, or comfort. The moment their self-interest points in another direction, that bond of love becomes a secondary concern. They will betray the leader they love for a better offer. They will abandon the friend they love if it becomes socially inconvenient. Fear of consequence, however, is a far more stable motivator. A person may not love you, but if they know with absolute certainty that betraying you will result in their own ruin, the loss of their job, the destruction of their reputation, their exile from a social circle, they will calculate that the cost of betrayal is too high. Their self-interest, the very engine that would drive them to betray you, now becomes the chain that binds them to loyalty. You are not controlling them through affection. You are aligning their self-interest with your own. This brings us to the economy of it all. You do not lead with fear. That creates a brittle, oppressive environment. You lead with what Machiavelli called virtù, a complex term often translated as prowess, skill, or strength. You should strive to be respected and, if possible, liked. You distribute kindness, generosity, and rewards, but you do so strategically. Kindness is an investment. You give it to those whose actions have proven their loyalty, whose hands have shown they are on your side. This reinforces their good behavior and demonstrates that loyalty to you is profitable. But you must never be seen as indiscriminately kind or naively forgiving. Machiavelli warns that a man who wishes to make a profession of goodness in everything will come to ruin among so many who are not good. Your kindness must have a hard edge. Your forgiveness must have a limit. When someone commits a true act of betrayal, your response must be decisive. There is no room for a dozen second chances. A public and final consequence does two things. First, it removes the threat. Second, and more importantly, it serves as a lesson to everyone else watching. It demonstrates the price of treachery. It calibrates their understanding of the fear of consequence. This is the economy: rewards for proven loyalty, and swift consequences for proven betrayal. If you are only kind, you will be seen as a resource to be exploited. People will not love you. They will love what you give them, and they will discard you when the well runs dry. If you are only cruel, you will be hated and eventually overthrown. But if you are strategically benevolent and predictably firm, you create a powerful and stable psychological environment. People know that loyalty will be rewarded and betrayal will be punished. There is no ambiguity. Think of the leaders, the friends, the figures in your own life who command genuine, unshakable respect. They are not the ones who are merely nice. They are the ones who are formidable. They are fair, often generous, but everyone knows there is a line that you do not cross. Their mercy is a choice, not a weakness. Their kindness is a gift, not an entitlement. That is the balance you must seek. You must kill the part of you that needs to be liked by everyone. That need is a vulnerability that will be mercilessly exploited. Replace it with a desire to be respected. Respect is a far more durable foundation for loyalty than affection. To make betrayal impossible, you must become an excellent accountant of human emotion. You must understand that some people are only capable of transactional relationships. With them, you maintain a relationship based on the fear of consequence. Others are capable of genuine loyalty. With them, you can build a bond based on mutual respect and shared interest, reinforced by your strategic benevolence. The wisdom lies in knowing the difference. And you know the difference by applying the first two laws, watching their hands, and understanding their nature as a lion or a fox. The three rules work together as a single, integrated system for navigating the treacherous reality of the social world. The final realization is this: these rules are not about manipulating others. They are about refusing to be manipulated. They are not about becoming unfeeling. They are about protecting your ability to feel for those who are actually worthy of it. By building this fortress of awareness, you create a safe space within which genuine trust, real love, and true loyalty can finally flourish, because you will have weeded the garden of all the predators who would choke them out. You stop offering the sacred parts of yourself to those who only see them as an opportunity for advantage. That is the ultimate freedom Machiavelli offers you. Not the power to dominate the world, but the power to not be broken by it. So, we have journeyed into the heart of a philosophy many consider forbidden. We have looked at the world not as we wish it was, but as it is. We have dismantled the mechanics of betrayal and armed you with three laws to make it impossible. First, to watch their hands, not their mouths, treating action as the only truth. Second, to cultivate the natures of both the fox and the lion, marrying cunning perception with formidable strength. And third, to master the economy of fear and love, using strategic benevolence and the unwavering certainty of consequence to align the self-interest of others with your own. The purpose of this was not to turn you into a paranoid recluse or a ruthless manipulator. It was to give you a new set of eyes. The eyes of a strategist, a psychologist, and a realist. These rules are not a prescription for a miserable life spent in suspicion. They are the foundation for a secure one. They are the tools you use to identify who is worthy of your trust, who deserves your loyalty, and who earns your love. By understanding the nature of the game, you are no longer a pawn. You can choose when and how to play. You can finally build relationships on the bedrock of reality, not on the sand of wishful thinking. The expectation may have been a few dark, cynical tricks. The reality, I hope, is a profound and empowering new operating system for your life, one that protects your spirit so you can engage with the world with strength, clarity, and an unshakable sense of who you are. If this journey into the hard truths of human nature has resonated with you, if you are ready to stop being a victim of circumstance and become the architect of your own security, then you are not alone. This is a community for thinkers who are not afraid of the dark, because we know it is where you find the brightest light. So, write in the comments, "I watched the hands." Let it be a declaration that you are awake, aware, and no longer willing to be deceived, and continue your education. The next video is waiting, and it will take you even deeper. The journey does not end here. It is just beginning. See you there.